Digimon World. It's a game. It sure is its own type of game. Instead of your typical turn-based JRPG akin to Pokemon, Digimon Worlds acts a lot more like a Tamagotchi. It's a VPET through and through. Except that you also get a full-on open-world RPG to explore with your little guys. The only problem is that, other than telling you to recruit Digimon for your town, Digimon World is infamously cryptic. It doesn't tell you anything, and the requirements necessary to get anywhere are a little obtuse. If you're like me, you played this game a lot as a child, but you couldn't get anywhere because you kept getting Numemon, the Digimon you get whenever you do not meet any requirements for other Digivolutions, for too long, and also, it's the worst Digimon in the entire game. Just recently I finished another playthrough of Digimon World, and as I was researching and gathering resources to conquer this game myself, I decided to put this guide together, for anyone curious enough to revisit this game in the future. My name is Nos, and this is Digimon World for Beginners. Now, this guide will aim to give you all the necessary information you will need to get started on the right foot in this game. However, I will not be going too deep into everything. I think a good chunk of Digimon World's charm is exploring and figuring things out. I will be including a link to all that extra information if you seek it in the description below. I will also include any link to sites I mentioned from now on. First things first, when you start the game and Digimon asks you some questions, when he asks you if you prefer night or day, I'd recommend choosing day. It will let you start with Agumon instead of Gabumon, and you should have an easier time progressing through the early game. Also, when you start the game, make sure to speak to Tokomon in Digimon's house. He will give you a bunch of stuff to help you. When you start the game, don't forget to get your daily meat from the meat farm. You'll find several upgrades for the farm in the future. However, if you're struggling with food early on, you can easily salvage plenty of mushrooms around the forest right next to town. There's a chance for Digimushrooms to spawn whenever you zone into an area, so go nuts. Go around and gather a bunch. Just note that you're also using precious minutes of your Digimon's lifespan while doing so. Don't worry, food will become a non-issue in the future. If you want a usable Digimon early on without following a Digivolution guide, I would recommend getting all of your stats over 100 and your HP above 1000 at the gym next to town. This should get you a champion pretty much every time. It's also more fun than just knowing what you're going to get. It's always a fun and exciting surprise when your Digimon digivolves. Anyway, it is for me. Otherwise, if you want more focus, you can use this tool. It selects a random possible Digivolution for you. It shows you the requirements, but it doesn't show you which Digimon you will get out of it. It's a way to keep the surprise without training aimlessly, and if you want to know which Digimon it's selected for you, you can also do that. Now, let me clarify how the game determines that you are eligible for Digivolution. There are 4 requirements necessary for a Digivolution, and in order to digivolve into something else, your Digimon must meet 3 out of 4 requirements. A misconception a lot of people have online is that each individual stat is a requirement, when in fact, meeting all of the stats requirements only counts as 1. The requirements are actually as follows. 1. Meet all stats requirements. 2. Number of care mistakes. 3. Your weight. And 4. Meeting one of the 2 bonus criteria, and those change based on your Digimon, so I can't really tell you which one exactly. So for example, if I wanted my Elecmon to digivolve into Leomon, here's what I would do. I would train my Elecmon so its offense, speed, and brain stat were above 100. Then I would make sure I do not make any care mistakes. I will clarify care mistakes shortly, don't worry about it. And finally, I tried to keep his weight around 20. You can manipulate your Digimon's weight with different types of food. You can also overfeed your Digimon to make him put on a few pounds as well if you want to. It will also lose weight for various reasons. When you poop, when you go to sleep, if it's too tired and you're doing stuff. It's a real balancing act to keep your weight within requirements. If any of these options doesn't go my way, I try to go out and win 10 battles. That way I would meet one of the bonus criteria. And that way, I can meet 3 requirements as needed. This is super useful to know when you want to get your first few Ultimate Digimon. Early on, the stat requirements are quite high and hard to achieve, but knowing this, you can fall back on care mistakes, weight, and bonus criteria as needed. Getting Ultimate Digimon is probably the most reliable way of getting Tamer levels, and Tamer levels let you keep some of your stats whenever your Digimon dies and gets reborn, letting you make better Digimon more quickly. Okay, so I mentioned care mistakes quite a few times there. But what are care mistakes? That's another piece of information I've seen floating around, and a lot of it has been false. Thankfully, a few members of the Digimon community took it upon themselves to thoroughly test these things for us now, and I am using their documentation as a source for this video. Again, link in the description. Anyway, care mistakes consist of 1. Letting your Digimon poop on the ground, 2. Not feeding your Digimon, and 3. Not letting your Digimon sleep. Nothing else counts as a care mistake. Some posts online will mention that your Digimon getting sick or injured counts as a care mistake, but it doesn't. However, if you let your Digimon sleep while it is hungry or needs to poop, it will not count as a care mistake. Your care mistake count also resets to 0 whenever your Digimon digivolves, which is also important to know when you're trying to meet care mistake requirements. I also wanted to mention that there are 3 upgrades you can make to your training at the Green Gym to make your life easier in the future. For the first one, you need to train at each individual machine 10 times using a fresh or in-training Digimon. The machine will automatically be upgraded permanently whenever you train for the 10th time on it. Note that due to a bug, the Brain Training machine is upgraded by using the MP Training instead, only requiring you upgrade 5 machines instead of 6. This is also a one-time thing. Sorry, you can't keep upgrading them with new baby Digimon. The second upgrade involves recruiting Seadramon, so it can take you to Beetle Island. On Beetle Island, you'll be able to recruit Kabuterimon and Kuwagamon, which will both upgrade your gym. And finally, you'll be able to get the last upgrade by defeating Piximon, who will then sell you the training manual for 50,000 bits, if you can catch him at the shop in town. He won't always be there. Keeping the manual in your inventory is all you need to do for it to take effect. Now, I'm giving you this information, so that way you know about it, but I'm not gonna tell you how to do it. I'll let you figure that out for yourself. I think it's more fun that way. Alright, I think this is all I had to share with you today. Okay, editing Nos here. I just realized that I didn't put anything in my script about your Digimon being able to learn new techniques by fighting Digimon who use those techniques. And if they're able to learn it, they might learn it. They have a chance to do it. So yeah, that's it. Bye. This should get you started on the right foot and immediately make Digimon World more enjoyable. If you ever get stuck with recruitments, I also recommend using this tool. It will let you keep track of who you've recruited so far, and it will also show you new recruitable Digimon as they become available. It will remove a little bit of the magic at times, but it beats wandering around forever not knowing what to do. Digimon World is a game that is very close to my heart. It is so special to me, and even though I could never get very far into the game as a child, I have plenty of fond memories trying to figure it out with my stepbrother. While neither of us could read or speak English at the time, it is definitely one of my favorite games ever made, and I hope that this guide can make you enjoy it too. On that note, this is Nos Syndrome signing out, and I will see you next time. I love your face. Bye-bye. Imagine making a guide for a game that came out in 1999, bro. It's 2024. Shit.